And welcome back to the Western Province Cricket Club ground, the Wally Wilson Oval in Cape Town, where the second match of the 2017 Last Man Stands World Championships has just begun between Farani Taylor Stallions and Westfield and the Columbian Moose. And the Stallions are batting, and this is only the third ball, so they're doing pretty well so far. And with me is Luke. Hello.
Good morning.
It's too loud. Hang on. Where's the volume?
Good morning. Sorry about the delay. A few technical issues here. Okay, so forward field set, change of bowler. Got no here.
You're having a few technical problems here. We're just going to switch headphones here just to make it possible, so hang on a second.
Here starts off with the dot ball there. Got Kanam on strike. Okay, 4 for not off 1.1 overs so far. It's a bit short and wide, just for 1. Sorry about the technical delays there, guys. I do believe I'm waiting for a commentary partner. To be confirmed who that is, but I suspect it will be an LMS legend. Apologies, it's a little bit windy here as well. Hope you can hear me alright. Bowler struggling with the wind of his run up there, I think. On strike, short and wide, pulled away. That's 4 runs, lovely shot. First boundary of the morning.
Well, it's been a very breezy day here in Cape Town this morning. Gale force winds over Table Mountain, but just as a sign now, there's a nice delicate cut for 2, as the wicketkeeper has to come and field the ball.
Keeps it to 1.
Yeah, the Table Mountain was shrouded in a big black cloud. We thought there was going to be rain for the first time for months here.
Yeah, luckily the rain has stayed away. It's a beautiful morning here now.
Certainly is.
Absolutely stunning. First time to Cape Town for me, and it is absolutely sensational. Okay, last ball of the over. Lovely shot, going to push for 2. The fielder's going to keep that to 1. Yeah, well fielded. That completes the second over. We're 10 for none.
Well, that's a reasonable start, but it's a big ground here, so boundaries, I suppose, are going to be difficult to come by.
Yeah, well, the first game the score was 138 from the Australian team, and that was a little bit short, so I think 150 is about right on this sort of ground. The outfield is absolutely stunning though, so I think you get plenty of value for your shots, but it's a nice big boundary.
So a little bit of a shock result, was it, with the Bangladeshis beating the Australians?
I don't know, I thought the Bangladeshi side were very good actually. I thought
Yes.
they looked like they had some very good cricketers, taking nothing away from the Australians. I thought they were strong as well, but yeah, I did think the Bangladeshi guys were very good. So we have got Jacobs running into bowl, and he
Number
starts
12.
with a wide. So that one will be re-bowled, but any wides after that will be 3 runs to the batsman. So really can't afford to bowl another wide in this over, it gets very expensive. Here we got Canham on strike. Ooh, is that another wide? That's 4 runs. So 3 for the wide and then a scampered 1. So a little bit expensive here.
Certainly, and there's no doubt that this is one of the rules of last man stands that actually is very attractive, because you guarantee that the innings doesn't last more than an hour.
No, absolutely. So yeah, apart from the last over, you get 1 wide to be bowled in the over, and yeah, it just stops those overs going into sort of 12, 13, 14 balls. Okay, so single there.
In the first 19 overs, you're allowed 5 proper balls,
Yep.
and only 1 extra ball, and after that, if you bowl wides or no balls, it's 3 runs to the opposition plus whatever runs they get.
And plus all no balls are 3 hits, so that's a lovely shot. Is that going to scamper away? It's holding up in the outfield. And it just triples across the road, 4 runs.
That's right.
Lovely shot there from Canham.
So forgive me, I've just arrived and been thrown into the commentary position. Did you watch the first game?
I did watch
total?
the first game, yeah. It was a really good start actually for what's going to be a fantastic tournament. So no, it was very good. The Australian side batted first. Yeah, 138 I think they got in total, and it just looked, sort of 15 runs light, and that proved to be the case. The Bangladeshi team knocked it off with about 2.2 overs to spare. So yeah, good game to start with. So I believe we've got a team from America here. You're bowling. That's a fantastic cricket shot. That really is a nice cricket shot. People think last man stands just about slogging it, but that's a fantastic cover drop.
Oh, you get full value for the proper shots as long as
Yeah.
you hit the gaps between the fielders, which is not so difficult.
No, there's only 6 of them.
them.
You've got 6 fielders, a wicket keeper and a batsman. I must tell you, if you captain a few games of this, you do try and really struggle where to put your players.
And there's an obstruction coming on the field now with a piece of a plastic bag heading straight for the pitch. Are they going to wait until it's passed, or no? The bowler's in. And
That's
there's a
another good
lovely
shot.
drive again, and that's gone for 4 again.
This is fantastic batting from Canham.
Yeah, that's
That takes him
excellent.
to 19 off 9 deliveries.
And the plastic ball passes the pitch and heads for the
Yeah, I don't
lee
think
side.
we've got the luxury of waiting for everything to blow over today. I just think we're going to have to get on with it. There's been plenty of obstacles flying across the pitch today. Bits of cardboard, plastic bags. I must admit though, this is probably one of the most beautiful places you can play cricket.
It's very calming to have a large area of grass in the middle of a city like this.
Yeah. I always think we're very spoilt in England with our cricket pitches, but this one is superb.
I mean, this is the Newlands area, but this is not the Newlands Test Stadium, which we can see
It's just a-
away to our left with huge floodlighting pylons, which saw a tremendous match yesterday evening.
That was a good game actually, we all went to that.
Yeah, and it went to the second last ball.
So it looks... Have we got a change of bowling here? So I'm just waiting for the live scoring to update. Oh no, we've got Nair back for his 3rd over. No,
29.
Jacobs in for his 2nd over. Sorry about that,
29
guys.
for no wicket.
Very good start this.
Yes,
Nearly 10 and over.
that's good, yep.
That last over really helped. Oh, lovely shot.
Oh well, there's another 4. They're certainly picking the gaps, aren't they?
Yeah, they've really just picked this up, haven't they? They had a lovely, sort of very calm start, first 2 overs for 10 runs, and then they've really clicked into gear now. They got sort of 20 runs off the last couple of deliveries. So Canham has got off to an absolute flyer. He's 23 off 10 deliveries, and he's just put that one into a little gap as well. He's batting superbly well to start here. He's 24 off 11 balls now. I'm giving his team a flying start.
You mentioned the American team, they're in the next game, are they?
Or is it this? where are the two teams that we've got playing here from?
I will have to make an inquiry here because I'm not quite sure. I'll go and find out.
Oh, fantastic. So you're stuck with me for a little bit, guys. As Kadir runs that down for one. Yeah, I must admit you guys can't really see it on the camera at the moment, but sat underneath Table Mountain as we are now is absolutely superb. Yeah, if you're lucky enough to play your club cricket here, it is a lovely, lovely venue. Got Kadir running in again. Dot ball. Okay, trying to pale that to square leg.
Sorry about this, we were plunged into this with very little notice, and it's the Americans who are fielding,
Yeah.
and it's the English team that is batting, and certainly they look as if they are used to playing, although at this time of year they won't have played any cricket since September.
No. No, it's snowing back in England, I think.
It's been a long time since I saw the American cricket, and that was an associate level in Dubai, and they looked pretty good, but lost the game. So it's the way it goes.
Okay, we've got change of bowler here. We've got Ashwin Venkat coming
And
in.
that was hooked.
And he's
That
put
was
away
a
for
short ball,
first ball.
just outside the leg stump, and it was well hooked to a square leg for 4.
So Kadir getting in on the scoring as well now. Right, good cricket shot that. That puts him on to 16 off 10 deliveries, and we've got Kaneham on 24 off 12, so both of them going along at a very healthy run rate.
I think the key to last man stand success lies in the bowlers being accurate, and accurate and full length, not
Oh, 6
half,
runs.
half trackers are no good.
Half trackers and balls on length aren't really going to do it, are they?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can you get some very, very good bowlers in LMS, and you tend to find they're the guys that sort of find a plan and then stick to it. So it's either bowling, you know, sort of full and wide outside off stump and having their field set accordingly, or bowling really full and straight. But yeah, the guys here from Farani Taylor Stallions really are just picking gaps here and batting very nicely. Move off to 47 off 4.1 overs, so well over 10 and over now. Wide ball. Run rate up to 11.36 now. Gonna look for 2 here or just 1? Lovely shot for 1. So 50 up there, and on very nicely. Another lovely drive there from Kaneham, just for 1. Slight misfield, but no overthrows. 52 or 4.3, so this bowler's going to look to try and keep these last two deliveries very tight. Already out of wide, so don't want another one of those. Yeah, that's well bowled. Changed his lane slightly, just start pitching it up a little bit more. He's got the cover back at deep extra cover and long off, and I think he's bowling into that. Apologies if you can hear the wind, guys. It is very windy out here.
Yes, we've got gale force winds in the Cape Town area all day today, apparently, according to the expert weather forecasters.
Well,
So apologies for the sound.
Sorry guys, we've tried to tuck ourselves against the wind in a little corner here, but I don't really think we've nailed it. A little bit exposed here, but the cricket's still very nice, good, and the weather is lovely, so let's not worry too much about that. So we've got Kadir on strike now. That's a lovely shot, but just for 1 run.
Well, at this rate, they'll make the 200, won't they?
I think they will, yeah. It'll be interesting to see what after the 2 openers, what batting they've got to come, but yeah, with this start, they'd absolutely be looking to get a minimum of 200 now. I was talking to a couple of guys earlier and we sort of thought 150, 160 would be about a par score, so I think 200 is going to be a very difficult target to chase.
That
is 6
is
runs.
a 6.
Unfortunately we've got
Very well hooked.
Jacobs here. He's dropped a little bit short there and has been put away. Kanan moves on to 31 off 14 deliveries, so going along very nicely, well over strike rate, well over 200. So
the only thing that might contain them is if one or both of these players gets to 50 and has to retire.
That's true. Be like
then who
a
knows
wicket.
what happens with the subsequent batters.
It'll be also interesting to see if they've got a decent spinner, the American side, because I think a really good spinner will slow the run rate down in LMS. If you look at a lot of the really good LMS teams, they do seem to have 2 particularly good spinners that just really come on and just really control the game, get through their overs quickly and just calm that run rate down, because they're currently going at 10.89 and over here, so really need to pull this back a little bit. A wicket would help them massively now.
Well, it's the old saying in cricket, change the bowler, change the game.
Yeah.
Change the pace, change the game.
So Jacobs is just coming up to finish off his 3rd over. Figures of 0 for 23 so far. Kanan back on strike. That's a wide ball.
Wide down the leg side for him.
I think the wides are going to cost these guys as well a little bit at the moment, because they bowled at least sort of 1 and over and minimum, and it's just given the batting side another ball as well, which I wouldn't really want to be giving these batsmen any more balls, because you drop slightly short or full and they just put you away. Oh, well bowled.
They're not interested in taking 2, despite the shouts from their colleagues at the boundary.
I thought if they'd have run that first one a little bit harder, they might have picked up a second there, but that finishes off the 5th over. We've got 63 on the scoreboard after 6. So yeah, 10.67 and over and going along very nicely. We've got a little change of bowling now.
It's difficult to assess what a difference the wind is making to the bowler's task.
I think it makes a big difference to the batting side, because if anything, sort of from square leg sort of to long off, it's just all downwind and the ball is just absolutely flying. When the Australian team were batting in the first innings, they were batting into the wind in the first 10 overs, and it did look much more difficult. You just didn't get the same value for your shots.
Right.
So I think if I was a bowler, I want another wide to start with.
That's 3 more runs to the batting side.
Is that no? That's the first ball of the over, so that's just the one. We've got Venkat in to bowl his 2nd over. His first over went for 18. And again,
and that's been savage to square leg boundary.
He's just straight onto leg stump there, hasn't he? He's got a big gap between fine leg and deep backward square, and he's picked that gap very nicely.
Now, if that was Yorker length, they'd not be able to play that shot. In fact, Yorker length, it's very difficult for the batsman to get any kind of shot on it at all.
No, I think they're trying for Yorker length just to make that sort of the scoring opportunities cut them right down. But unfortunately, if you don't get your Yorker spot on, it's pretty much a half volley and on the leg stump. The batsman
or it's a full toss.
Yeah, and these batsmen are not going to miss out on those. So Kanan moves on to 39 off 19 deliveries. Oh, that's a good shot.
Lovely shot.
That's the one thing that I've been very impressed with so far from this tournament. The standard of cricket has been superb. Like, you look at these 2 batsmen, they're clearly good cricketers, aren't they?
Yes, I agree with that. That is a characteristic of last man stands, that it's not just slogging.
No, it's not. You see that shot there, that's a very, very clever shot. He's seeking Kanan's hitting the ball very well, and he's just the other batsman.
And it's just as important to take the singles.
Yeah, and the Kadir's doing that very nicely. If it's not a bad ball, they're just picking up 1. I've hardly seen any dot balls in this game from Farani Taylor Stallions. They're just playing really well. Oh, are we going to see? See 1 run. So yeah, Venkat unfortunately struggling a little bit out there. 1.4 overs, 25 runs conceded already. So stats on the screen there for Imran Kadir. 5 innings, 1 not out, 229 runs, an average of 57.25. Oh,
that's a big 6.
Big.
That's a lovely shot. Shot of the day.
Yeah, you can see why this guy's averaging 57.25. He can bang it. That takes him on to 36 off 18 deliveries. So that brings the 7th over to a close, and they're 78 off 7 for none. So a fantastic start here from Farani Taylor Stallions. Do you know if this is the American team's first trip to Cape Town?
I haven't come across them before. I mean, American cricket has always been a bit of a mess in ICC terms, but they seem to be making a little bit of progress now. But at club level, it'll be very variable.
Yeah. I just think there's so many sports ahead in America that are just preferred by the Americans: your baseball, your American football, your basketball, etc. But I do think now that there's an opportunity for cricket to really grow in America.
Yes, I think so. Of course, most of the players in American cricket are either from the West Indies or from the Asian background countries. In fact, the Asian background players are taking over everywhere, really, aren't they?
A very popular part of LMS, yeah.
Absolutely.
So we've got change in the bowling here. We've got Michael Apollo's on, and his first ball is slapped away, but just for one. A little bit of well-needed cover back on that sort of cover boundary there.
It wasn't a bad ball, actually, but of course against a couple of batsmen that are well settled, you're not going to get away from slightly being short.
The pitch looks like it's playing absolutely wonderful, though.
Nice looking pitch, good colour.
The groundsman has done a fantastic job. It is playing very true. Unfortunately, another wide slips in there. So we've got Imran Kadir now up to 37. And we've got Wade Michael Canham on 42. So these two batsmen could be retiring at roughly the same time, and that could almost be like getting 2 wickets for the guys. So it could be interesting to see if these guys both do retire, how the other batsmen come in, and if they can keep scoring at the same rate. So that's the 80 out of 7.2 overs. So there's another wide. So that's 3 runs. Unfortunately, I can see the Farani Taylor Stallions being comfortably 100 at the 10 over mark, and really looking to push on from there and get a score post 200. And then we'll have to see how much batting the other guys have got. Oh, has he nicked that for 4? Yeah, he has.
It's gone, yes, that's right.
So a little nick there.
Well, it was a top edge actually, off the bat, a horizontal bat, and he just got the top edge and came up higher than he expected.
Be interesting to see the replay, see where that, how close that was to the wicketkeeper. We've got a good view of it coming up now, so.
This is the replay.
Oh,
They are.
yeah,
That
tough
wasn't
one.
that far away from the wicketkeeper.
No, it
was
would
it?
have been it would have been a very good catch, but unfortunately that's the only chance they've had all morning. So if they could have taken that, it would have put a slightly different complexion on the game. Although if I was playing in this game, I'd take this situation all day long. So another 4 there.
So Kadir goes ahead of Canham now, 44.
45 off 23.
45, yep.
Yeah, so one more strike for him and he could be retired, keeping that average well over 50. That's an average of 50 is I think what most batsmen aspire to, don't they? So
Well, maybe these 2 Englishmen should be out in Australia.
let's not talk about that. I'm staying with a couple of Australians and it's not been pleasant so far. Yeah, I haven't really enjoyed this Ashes series as much as I thought I was going to. It's I was quite excited for it, but it's been a little bit of a letdown.
It has been, yes. Careful late cut there.
Yeah, I think he's going to make sure that he retires here and puts himself back in the hut so he can come back in again if required. So we've got Canham back on strike now. 42 off 22 deliveries, batting incredibly well.
And 2 cameramen on the scaffold towers at each end, having to suffer the wind. There's another wide. So it's a pity about the wides actually, because that does spoil the rhythm of the game.
It does spoil the rhythm, and also it doesn't let the bowler settle into any rhythm, and you're just giving the batsman runs, which, I mean, these guys are more than capable of scoring their own runs, but when you're giving them runs as well, it's oh, and first that I can remember for a very long time. So well bowled. That looked like a slower ball.
Yes, variation, very interesting.
So it'd be interesting to see. We've got another 1.3 overs from this end, and then the guys are going to have to bowl with a change of the wind. It'd be interesting to see. 2 dots bowling nicely here. A little bit of control back. If they can start sort of get putting a few dot balls together and just putting a little bit of pressure back on these batsmen. It might just force a wicket. Oh no.
That was definitely too short by about a metre.
Yeah.
And an easy...
put the curse on him there. I just thought he was
Yeah.
bowling really nicely.
Oh,
I thought they're just
absolutely.
going to build a little bit of pressure because it only takes a few dot balls in LMS, and batsmen do really feel that pressure because it's like you say, you've only got 6 in the field or 8 in total. A couple of dot balls, and you do sort of think, oh, I need to get a boundary or something here just to make up for it. But that moves Canham on to 47 off 26 delivery. So one more strike like that, and he'll be back in the pavilion having a well-earned drink. It's going to be.
That will be saved by the fielder out at square leg.
It's like Westfield, are they going to come
Are they going
back?
for 2? No, they're not.
Don't
Just
think-
the one.
That's a very good arm though, straight over the top of the stump, so probably wise to turn that second run down there because he'd have been struggling a little bit. That's the end of the over, 95 for 9, so still over 10 and over. Batting very nicely, so one more over from this end, and it'll be interesting to see if the American side have got a spinner or not. We haven't seen one yet.
There's a shot in the background of the gale force winds doing their best to bring the palm trees down and anything else that's getting in the way.
Yeah, you can see they must get a lot of wind from those trees because they're completely bent over, so it must be windy here very often. Right, we've got bowler in now. Lovely cricket shot. Just the one for Canham there. Moves him on to 48.
Right, can Caddy get the 4 that he needs for his 50?
I think he'll be looking to do it in one shot if he can. I must say I've seen quite a lot of LMS. I've been very lucky that I've watched quite a lot of LMS in different places. I was at the UK Nationals a few months ago. I must admit these are 2 of the better batsmen I've seen. They look really well set and comfortable out here.
Nice square cut, but it'll
gonna
be
be
cut
cut
off.
off. They're going to pick up 2. Yeah, they're going
Pick up
for it.
2, yes, that's right.
gonna
Oh, it's going to
hurry.
be close.
No.
Not close enough.
Got quite enough pace on that ball from the fielder to get it right over the top of the stumps. So 2 more required for Deer. 48 now. Update.
Oh, that's a lovely shot. That's gone all the way. That's the way to get to your 50. 6 runs, and thank you, Mr. Caddy.
That's
You
very
can have
well
a wee
batted.
rest now, and
Yeah.
don't take your pads off.
Quick drink and then see what other batsmen they've got to come in. Who have we got coming in now for Farani Taylor Stallions? So Westfield and the Columbian Moose are really just struggling to find any control with the ball. I don't want to be too harsh on them because they've got plenty of effort in the field, and just they've been on the wrong end of some very good batting. So good batsman coming out to the middle. Just waiting for his name to come up, but yeah, you can see there Kadir wandering off. He batted very well, so deserves the applause that I'm sure he's going to get from his teammates.
Yes, indeed. Well batted, sir.
Yeah, strike rate of 207.69. Very well batted.
That's very
54 on
impressive.
26 balls. High fives all round there.
Of course, when you're playing in the club game at the very base of the last man stands pyramid, the next man in was the square
Normally
leg
does
umpire.
Square leg umpire, yeah.
It takes a little longer when you don't have only 20 yards to walk in.
Yeah, got 2 umpires today. I think probably right for
Quite
a big
right.
final like this. So
Absolutely.
welcome to the crease, Ahmed Khawaja. Not sure if we've got any stats on him yet, but just taking his guard there. He'll be looking to push this run rate along now. So yeah, hundreds up off that 6, off just 9.3 overs. So left-hander on strike. Wide ball. Difficult left-hand, right-hand combination now. That bowler's got to very quickly settle in and not just slip down the leg side of the left-hander. So here's some stats. So we've got 23 innings, 7 knots out, 625 runs at an average of 39.6. So yeah, very strong average there, coming in at number 3.
He's off the mark now, apart from the wide, obviously.
Yeah, so he's already on 2 off 2 deliveries.
That's another of the wacky rules in last man stands, that all the extras go to the batsman's credit.
They do. I must admit, I've profited from that a few times. There's nothing like a bowler that's already bowled a wide that bowls a big wide down the leg side that the keeper misses, and you get 7 runs for it. You get the 3 and the 4. That's always
Absolutely.
very pleasant. So change of ends now. So it's another. Oh no, one ball to go. Sorry guys, slightly ahead of myself there.
Wide was.
So Canham on 49. So is he going to retire as well? Yep, there he goes. So we're going to have two new batsmen in here. Oh, they've gone for two. Yeah, very well run in the end. Comfortably back.
And he's off to have a wee rest, a drink of water, which is very essential in this heat when you come to Cape Town.
It's not actually, it's a nice temperature out there actually. I went out for a little look at the pitch earlier on today, and yeah, the breeze is just cooling it down quite nicely.
The breeze is cooling it down, but the temperature will still rise apparently according to the forecast to about 37.
That's a bit warm for me.
That may not be necessarily here at this ground.
No. So we've got the 108 off 10 overs, no wickets down, so a fantastic start from Farani Taylor Stallions. So as per all last man stands games, 10 overs have been bowled from one end, slight change now, and we'll bowl the last 10 overs from this end. Yeah, a commentator's just leaving me for a minute, so you're stuck with me on my own. Not quite sure who the bowler is, but I'll get that to you. So yeah, well batted there, Wade Michael. Gerard Cayman, fantastic knock there, 51 off 29, 175.86 strike rate. That's the start you want to give your team. That was a fantastic effort, guys, so well done to those two opening partners. They batted very well. So let's see what the guys can do now with the wind going in their favour. We're looking to really wrestle some control back into this game. I don't think they want to fancy chasing over 200, but as it stands at the moment, that's what they're going to be doing. This is Apollo's back in for his second over. Slight full toss there, that's worked away for 2 runs. Looks like there's a little bit of swing there for Apollo, so we'll see if they can get anything, if the ball can do anything. Now it's getting a little bit older, but a little bit of swing might just be what they need. So we've got Kawadra on strike, left-hander, swinging it into him, and it's worked away to the leg side for 1 run. So now we've got Tanwir Sikandar on strike, works that away for 1, that gets him off the mark nicely.
I suspect the pronunciation is Sikandar.
Thank you very much for that.
I used to live in India.
Oh good, yes, if you could help me out with that, that would be apologies Sikandar.
Mr. Kawaja is as you pronounced him.
That is correct. Oh,
that's a big hit.
No, is he going to get saved for 4? Oh, well fielded.
Well saved, yes.
Saved the team 2 runs there.
The importance of athletic fielders is also a major part of the last man stands.
It's not like Saturday 11 cricket where you can hide a couple in the slips or one at fine leg or something like that. No, every fielder really does have to, you've got so much ground to cover. Yeah, you really can't. Is he pierced the gap there? That's just going to be the 1 run. Fielded nicely there by long off.
Well,
slight slip from the batsman, so definitely turning the 2 down there.
In case you find yourself commentating in the last match of today, which is the match where my team is taking part, Fulton's Flyers come from Scotland.
Oh, fantastic.
And we're playing Langa, which is a township just outside Cape Town. The club that we're based at, which is Clydesdale Cricket Club, in 2003 sent our best under-21s on a tour here. We played Langa then. We scored 220 in 50 overs, and we were beaten by 10 wickets.
Oh.
So don't underestimate Langa, is the crucial thing. But we have a team of athletic fielders.
So I think as cricket clubs go, I mean, you couldn't be further apart in terms of the UK. So my club Bashley, who were part of the New Forest competition, unfortunately got to the Southern finals, but beaten by a good side from Brighton. But it would have been lovely to have some of the teams from the New Forest or the south of England out here. But unfortunately, they've got some good sides in that league. But there are some very good sides that come from the English Championships.
Well, indeed, it's the heartlands of the original heartlands of cricket in the United Kingdom.
Yeah, it's lovely to have a team from Scotland here. So is there 2 teams from Scotland?
No, just the one.
Just the one.
We were the Scottish champions in 2016, and we were fortunate in being encouraged to come to the World Championships here this year, partly because they gave us some money to come.
Always helps. That's a bit short. That's a lovely cricket shot. No, wide ball, sorry. I thought he clipped that down to fine leg.
Well, it looked as if it should have gone, but he missed it.
Pay more attention. I'm too busy talking about
It's a
Scottish
bit of a
cricket.
wide, so there you are. Was that the first wide of the over, I think?
Yeah. So 119 off 11.1 overs here. Kawaja's 12 off 7 balls, and Sekunda's 1 off 1.
That's a much better ball, and it's stroked to mid-on by the
Wow.
left-hander, and good cricket actually. Right, well, Table Mountain is just beginning to, the top of Table Mountain is
The
just beginning to
tablecloth has
come
been coming off.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah, I arrived yesterday, and like I said, I've never been to South Africa before. And as soon as you come out of the airport, it's right there, and it is one of the most stunning backdrops to a city.
Oh, you can see Table Mountain from every point in the city, absolutely every point. And in case anybody's puzzled by the use of the word tablecloth, that is the mist that gathers on top of the mountain and tumbles over. The tablecloth of Table Mountain.
Is this your first time to Cape Town, or?
No, I've been twice before, in 2002 and 2003. By golly, what a lot of changes have been. The incredible amount of building in Cape Town. It's a very, very modern city now.
Yeah, I must admit,
Unbelievable.
I've absolutely thoroughly enjoyed myself since I've been here. I've been here about 24 hours now, and it's been fantastic so far. I think I'll definitely be coming back at any opportunity.
Well, here's my story. I was born in South Africa 75 years ago.
You look very good for 75, I must say. I thought
That's
you
a
were here
nice
playing.
shot.
Oh,
And
that would have been a
just
good
dropped.
catch.
It would have been a very good catch because it was going
He hit that
like a
very
train.
well, yeah.
There's tablecloth
There we are.
on. There you are, right in the middle, the flat bit. I think that's it. No, maybe that.
No,
it's
it's just
the one,
over to the
that's one
left-hand
south,
side.
That's right. Yeah.
So we've got a change of bowling here. Sorry, guys. We're
And that's very well fielded in the outfield there. Diving stop.
a bit
It's the
carried
kind of thing that you need, and wicketkeeper fails to gather, but they're not going to bother with the extra run there.
So we're into the 12 points, 12th over here, and Farani Taylor Stallions are 126. So these two guys have come in and have not let the run rate
there's the
die
shot.
down.
Oh, there's the catch,
That
which
would have been a good one.
would have been fantastic if they managed that.
Yeah, 126 for none still. So they've
Back
got
live now.
no wickets down and looking to set a really big total here. Dot ball, well bowled. That's smart from the batsman there. He's seen a good ball and thought it's not got to hit every ball for 6. And just pushed it back to the bowler.
So I didn't come back to South Africa for 58 years.
Ah.
And I've been back 6 or 7 times since then, mainly as the media manager for Cricket Scotland's international team, but also with club and West District sides.
That's a very nice job you've got there. For
Well, no, it's not my job any longer.
No.
I have to create my own jobs these days.
That would have been great fun whilst you were doing it though.
Well, absolutely.
Just missed out on the leg side ball there. Leg wise. No, must have hit it.
Just got a wee edge on it, I think, there.
So
That's the end of the
127 off 12.4 off. Oh, no, off 13 overs. So the run rate has dipped under 10 for the first time in a long while.
Well, I suppose that's predictable when you've got 2 new batsmen, but they're not looking bad, and Kawaja is on 17. Sekanda, a little bit taking his time to get going, 3 runs off 5 balls.
So
This is Bahaduria. About to bowl, is it?
no, I've got to think this is
Or was that the previous bowler?
Dale September. They bowled an over previously, so this is his second over.
Well, that batsman didn't manage that one. It wasn't wide.
If he had hit it then, I think it would have been in that second field. He gave that everything, didn't he?
He's looking a little bit sore that it wasn't called wide, because it was down the leg side, but only just. Obviously, the umpire's using the profile system. And that almost, well, that is a wide,
So
yes.
September in bowling now, so he bowled That's 1.1 overs, 7 runs conceded, so he's not going too badly at the moment. Well under that 10 and over that some of the guys have gone for.
But maybe the left-hander is a little bit weak down the leg side, so maybe they're concentrating on that.
Targeting middle and leg and seeing if he can work it. Yeah, he's bowling well here.
Yes,
Good
indeed.
Yorker there on leg stump.
September in December.
So yeah, Westfield and the Columbian Moose just wrestling back a little bit of control here. Boundaries have dried up slightly, so that's
That
good
one-
for them.
that
They're going
one
to pick up
also
2 though, that's
saved.
well run.
In fact, enough room for 2 fielders to get to that ball. Seems a bit of a waste.
It's just sneaking its way down now, so just wrestling back a little bit of control, but I still think wide, that's 3 runs now though, unfortunately. We had the earlier wide, just struggling with the left-hander on strike here.
So has that doubled Sekander's score? I think.
There's Quadra on strike, I believe.
There's another one
Sekander's the one
on
in
the leg stump. And
Sekander's
only
the
one.
chap in the lovely orange pads.
Yes, at the club level, if you don't have matching pads and matching clothing, you don't get your bonus point.
I think it's just the clothing. I think
Oh,
you're okay with pads.
Oh, are you?
Yeah,
Ah, right.
it's a point for all having matching trousers and a point for all having matching shirts. So I think you're safe
That's
with the colour of the pads.
Well, we've gone to an awful lot of trouble with Fulton's Flyers to buy
Make sure
what
that
I discovered were called clads,
yeah.
and they will be blue like the rest of our kit.
I must admit, it does look very smart though when the team goes out all matching. In our sort of club cricket back in the Southern Electric League, they bought coloured clothing in for the 50 over stuff. And it does look very smart.
That's
Just
only
in
going to be
that
a
now.
single, 2 mid on. Oh, and he had to hurry to get back to his crease.
Well, Kawaja's ticking along nicely here, 24 off 19. Pounders 3 off 5. So how long did you live in India for?
Well, my father lived there for 5 years, and I paid 4 or 5 different visits. That's 4
lovely,
runs.
lovely straight drive.
And this was back in 1960 something, 61. Big changes there too, because I went back in 1995 with a team of under-21s from Scotland, from the west of Scotland, which included a future Scotland captain, Craig Wright. He was our captain. I couldn't find my way around Bombay when I learned to drive. That's another 4. So
Sekander's really turning the screw now, back-to-back 4s there, 2
Yep.
lovely cricket shots as well. Yeah, that straight drive particularly was lovely.
yes, I played cricket for the Bombay Gymkhana Club, which was in its prime there. I also played rugby for them, actually.
Very
So
nice.
there you are.
I've never been to India, it's on my list of places that I must get to. Keep hoping that they're going to host one of these World Championships in India. I think that would be a fantastic place
It would
for
be.
it.
It would be very good. It would be even hotter than Cape Town.
Yeah. And busier, I would imagine.
We had a 3.5-week tour of India in 1995, and we won our last match.
Was that the only match that you won? Oh, that's another good cricket shot. Just coming down the track slightly, adjusting the length for the bowler and then just putting it back with a square. Really quick hands through that. So the guys move on to 148 off 15 overs, so run rate's 9.87, so
Just under 10, yes.
so 200 still very much on the cards. I'm going to have a little guess and say that they will get to 200.
Well, it always helps to know that you've got a safety margin off the last ball,
There we go.
because
Big shout out there.
indeed. Nice pavilion here. Yes, off the last ball, if you hit the last ball for 6, you get 12.
Yeah.
That makes up for a lot of previous misses.
So there's a quick look at the scorecard there. You can see it. Great start from Imran Kadir and Wade Kanem. And then the other 2 guys here batting very nicely, and he's hit that very well. But it's great, good shot for 1. Yeah, the guys are just ticking along nicely now. 149 off 15.1. But yeah, that home run rule can be a little bit of a blow, particularly if you feel like you've bowled and fielded quite well, and then that last ball you
Whoa.
went for a slower ball there, which I don't mind, but just lost a little bit of control with it and just let it down the leg side.
Well, the wind might have taken that.
I think that's smart from the batsman though. He's seen that that's going to be a wide, and he could have tried to put it in this huge gap back with a square, but I think he thought, no, I'll take the extra ball and the extra run.
Yep. Well, mishit there. Didn't go more than about 5 metres.
We've got some wildlife creeping onto the pitch now. A few birds circling around and landing out by sort of extra cover, but they seem to have gone again now.
They appear to be rooks
Yeah.
looking for eggs.
So we've got Kawaja on strike, 26 off 21. He's hit that very well. He's going to get pick up 2. If they push, they think they'll get there. Yeah, they're coming back for it. That's very well run. Just pushed it into the gap and then picked up 2. I think that's another way you can build a good score in LMS, is if you push your gaps and run the first one hard, you can easily pick up 2 quite often. Particularly if you back yourself and think, well, if it's only
That's gone the whole way for 6.
6 runs.
Nice shot.
That's a big hit into that wind as well, because he's hitting
Yes.
that straight into the wind.
Absolutely.
I saw a guy in the first match get dropped down there playing a similar shot, and I did think as a batsman, I thought that's a very big hit to take on into that wind, because like you say, it's the other end, it's a pretty safe shot. If you connect with it, it's going flying over that big sight screen, but from that end, it's a big hit. Ooh.
Attempt to do the same, but it's going to go for 4.
Can get a 4 for that.
Down the leg side.
regardless.
Is it wide?
Oh,
Buys. I
buys.
mean, yes, buys.
Unfortunate.
Yep.
So, is that the end of the over? I believe so.
There's the big hit for 6. Oh no, those are the buys. It looked as if he hit it.
Yeah, I thought he hit it, because look how much it's deviated. It's gone
Yeah.
down to fine leg. It's not gone straight through the wicket keeper.
Yeah. And I heard a distinct
I heard so as well,
noise
yeah.
of the bat on ball.
So 159 off 15.4. Snuck back over that 10 runs and over mark, so up to 10.19. Is that the end of the over, or is there one to come?
That's the end of the over. New bowler is number 9.
We've got 4 overs to go here.
Is this September coming back again?
No, I don't think it is. September is now at long on or sort of deep mid-wicket.
Yeah, it is. September's come up on the book.
Not quite sure if that's the last day, but it's not quite updated yet. Bear with us and we'll get that back to you. It's very well played. That's a lovely cricket shot. He's using the pace and gliding it down to that vacant third man area. That bowler is Jason Jacobs back on, so this is his last over. He's bowled 3.1 overs so far for 29 runs.
That was beautifully glided by the batsman, incidentally. He just watched the ball onto the bat and just stroked it to very, very fine, through the slips if there had been any.
Very well played.
So that's Sikandar catching up fast with Kawaja.
Yeah, because he had a very slow, well, that's not fair, he had a steady start, and it just put, oh, that's up a long
very
way.
tall. Worse, that's
Is
going
it
to be
gonna
caught,
catch
is it?
Oh,
Unlucky,
you
unlucky.
see how that held up in the wind?
Yes,
It looked
it
like
did,
it was going
yeah.
straight down, and then it almost came vertically down.
It
It
only
really
got
held
halfway
up.
to the boundary.
Yeah, that really held up in the wind. Did they pick up 2 for that, or just the 1?
I think that was just the one, it's the left-hander now.
Yeah, that was very unlucky from the fielder, because that it was going right down his
See
throat,
this
and then
again just
it
now?
just held up in the wind, and they got short on him. Nice cricket shot for 1. Okay, we're up to 168 off 16.2 overs. Direct hit though, but the batsman well in his crease. So I think the 2 retired batsmen are quite safe in the fact that they're probably not going to be required again. We've got 3.2 overs to go, and still no wickets down.
They can go and have a shower. A quick
Good
one,
shot.
because of the drought in Cape Town.
Yeah, that is a fantastic cricket shot just there as well, just slightly short and wide, and there's a big gap at sort of backward point, and he's just pushed it straight into that gap very nicely. So these 2 guys batting really well as well. It's like a very strong batting lineup, don't they,
It
these
is
guys?
indeed, yes, very impressive.
Interesting to see how
Send
far
them
they
to
go.
Australia, I say. All the 4 of them.
Yeah,
Secunda up to 26 now, I think.
it is indeed 26 or 14 deliveries.
And that's a nice, delicate shot, but only for one because they brought that fielder very fine. It's unusual to have a fine fielder down the batting end. Usually square, aren't they?
Yeah, I must admit though, but these guys have been so good in just pushing it into gaps. I think the captain's just he's almost following the ball a little bit and just trying to move his fielders around, but I think that's the batsman doing that deliberately. They keep identifying a gap, pushing a couple of shots into it, then the fielder moves and then they start putting it back where the fielder was before. So yeah, they batted very nicely and very controlled as well. Bar that one drop at sort of mid-off, which was going like an absolute train, and then that one there, they've really not given a chance away. Fairly thick edge. Nice shot for one. Another bowler being used here. Got 3 of us to go.
For viewers who are going to be watching all day, we've got a treat in store a little later.
Have we? Is it me doing more commentary?
Tell you in a minute.
So this is Nair back on strike, and that is going to be 1 run. Yeah, just bounces before the fielder. Well, the fielder is thrown back in.
With any luck, he might be here for the next game.
Yeah.
But he certainly, I think, will be here for the last game. Omar Henry.
Oh, very pleasant.
Now, this is a test for you. Omar Henry, the world knows as the first coloured South African to play Test cricket for South Africa.
Oh, excellent. I should know that, really.
And one of the reasons I know was that he spent at least a decade coaching and playing in Scotland.
Ah.
He was coach to the Scotland team for a number of years, and he coached 2 or 3 clubs in his time there, and of course a left-arm spinner. So he brought on several left-arm spinners.
I must admit, a really good coach makes a big difference at club cricket, particularly if they're a very good player as well.
Well, he only played a handful of Test matches for South Africa before being retired, but it was a very appropriate honour that he had. He then became a South African selector, and then he became a commentator for South African television.
I must admit, I do look at commentators, particularly when you see them doing Ashes series and things like that, and think, that's a very nice job they've got, isn't it? Sitting there watching a bit of cricket all day. Yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how he copes with Last Man Stands commentary.
Yeah. There's a little bit of a difference in pace to Test match cricket, I must admit. I still absolutely love Test cricket, but nothing better than a good 2-hour game of Last Man Stands.
Absolutely.
So we're 178 off 18 overs now, 7 extras. There's the bowling figures there. A few of the guys have been a little bit expensive, but that's more due to the quality of the batting that we've seen. There's a
That will
push
be
for
2,
2.
I'm sure.
They've got to come back, I would have thought. Yeah, it's good running. Comfortable too.
Not a very impressive throw.
A little bit of fatigue setting in. They've been run around quite aggressively in the field, haven't they? They've really chased the ball a lot today, so they've done a lot of running, these guys.
Indeed.
So strike rate just under 10, 9.89.
Oh,
Good bouncer.
it could have been an overhead wide. It
Oh.
is, yes.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see the replay on that, because I don't mind a good bouncer, and I thought that was a good bouncer. If that's down the leg side, or if it's over the top of the stumps, it'd be interesting to see.
Over the shoulder or not? Are we going to see it
If we
again?
get the replay, because it'd be interesting to see that one.
Maybe not.
No.
No. You might be able to show us after this ball. Oh, tried to hook that and it went on in the other direction.
I think he's got a thigh pad on, otherwise that's going to be a little bit sore.
Either that or an inside edge. Now, is this the wide, the overhead wide that we're about to watch? Yeah, well, he ducked under
He
it.
ducked under it. I don't think that's head height. I think that's a good bouncer, unless it's well down the leg side and we can't see it from that angle. But I think the bowler's got to be allowed a good bouncer. It's a very important part of cricket.
Yeah.
And otherwise, if you're not allowed to bowl that, then the batsman's just going to get on the front foot and then puts a lot more sweat back to them. So the bowler's going right arm round here.
On the other hand, if you're a batsman and you can get away with it and create a wide and get 3 runs.
Yeah. I must admit, I'd be sort of exaggerating how far down the leg side it is, but I don't mind the short balls with batsmen actually. I quite like the pull shot and the cut shot, so I don't tend to mind. As long as they're not too quick, I don't mind if the bowler drops it a little bit short. If they're too quick, I don't like it. Oh,
that's not going to be
very,
caught,
very
but
good
is it
cricket
4 or
shot.
6?
That's 6 runs, sort of a backward point.
That's an
Very
interesting
good.
shot.
It's done very well to hit that in the air through sort of a backward point region. You've got to get very quick hands
And
for
the
a
ball's
shot like that.
disappeared down into the long grass. Beware of the black mamba.
Right,
Snake's alive.
yeah, I don't like snakes. One of the joys of living in sort of rural Victoria for a little while was
Watch that again. Oh
very
well,
good
I
cricket
mean,
shot.
he advanced down the leg side, but the ball was outside off stump, but he managed to get the bat on it, and net
very-
result, fielder in the long grass.
He's found it though, so we're all right there. The ball's back on the pitch. Yeah, I must admit I was playing a game in sort of country Victoria, and we had some long grass, and I didn't particularly want to volunteer to go and look for it because yeah, you don't want to stand on a snake midway through a cricket match.
Definitely need your trousers on. No shorts.
No shorts. So 188 off 18.4.
I tried it again.
No,
This
dot
time
ball.
he missed it. Dot ball, yes. And talking of trousers, Luke, you must look out for the Scottish trousers.
Are they quite a spectacle,
Oh.
are they?
They could go viral.
Oh. Shall we try and make it go viral?
Yes, please.
I'll get it on Twitter.
Yes, definitely. If you could do that,
Shall we
that'd
see
be
if we can make that
fantastic.
our campaign for the day? Can we get the Scottish trousers to go viral? Some of the kits here are fantastic. There we go, quick look at the bowling figures there. We're 188 off 19 overs. So big last over coming up here. Oh, he's bowled him.
Yeah,
First
well,
wicket of the day.
there you are.
Kawaja, 39.
This gives
out.
This gives me a chance to show you
Oh,
the
here we
Fulton's
go.
Flyers brochure, and this is the trousers.
Oh, they're brilliant. You can't come all the way from Scotland and not have some tartan on your trousers, can you?
Absolutely.
They are fantastic.
And the salt tire.
Yeah,
No,
it's
we
very
ca-
patriotic.
we
Sorry,
can't show that on screen yet, but watch out for it in the last game of today.
Is that on this pitch, is
It's
it?
on this pitch, so it'll be live
Fantastic.
streamed. The last time there was any Scottish clothing that went viral was about 10, 12 years ago when Scotland started playing the English counties in the one-day competition. And they had blue tracksuit bottoms and blue tracksuit top, but across the entire chest was a very broad band saltire across in white.
Just a quick shout out there to Ahmed Kawaja, fantastic knock there, 39 off 30 deliveries. Came in when the two openers had put a fantastic stand on, so that was a really good knock, kept the run rate going and put his team in a fantastic position.
And I'll tell you in a minute.
They got 9 bowling his last over, it worked down to 4 runs.
Yeah, well, one bounce.
So we've got Khan in batting now, and he starts off with a boundary. So we've got 3 deliveries, or potentially a minimum of 3 deliveries left in this innings. It takes the score up to 192, so they'll be looking to get 8 off these last. So there's Khan's stats. He's played 15 matches, had 4 not outs, 390 runs at an average of 35.45, and particularly interesting strike of 166.67. So, are we going to have a run out?
Oh,
Oh no. Dot ball. We've got 3 balls to go, and we've seen one of the few dot balls of the day. So my 200's looking a little bit optimistic now. Up to 192 with 2 balls to go. So I could be relying on the home run rule at this rate.
we shall see, we shall see.
We've got Khan on strike.
2 balls and any extras.
No, bowling his last over.
And that's
a
gone
lovely
for 4.
shot. That's very, very
So,
quick hands through
That was
there.
a very, very strong drive there.
So up to 196. So 4 required for
Here's
the
the drive
200.
again.
It's a lovely shot. Oh yeah, that's a
Yeah.
proper cricket shot. So you can see how well he's hit that. The fielder's not far away from that, and he's still not managed to get round and cut it off.
Live again.
Here we go.
Oh no, there's
There
another.
it is. Okay, last ball of the
Different angle.
innings. Here we go. Oh, we're going to get the 4? No. They're going to come up just short of the 200. They're going to
Going
pick up
for
the
2.
2, are they?
They're going for 2. Oh, and he missed it.
another
They're
one.
going for 3 now. Yes,
There we
definitely.
go. Could get my 200 if there's another overthrow here. Oh, not to be. 199 for 1. That is
Oh
a
dear, it's a
fantastic
shame.
innings from the Farani Taylor Stallions. 199, so 1 short of the 200. So there we go, the guys are on their way off,
Well,
and we'll be back in about 10 minutes
Yes,
to
indeed.
see
Around
if the
200 is the target for the second innings.
So Westfield and the Columbian Moose are chasing 200 exactly to win. So we'll be back with you shortly to see how they get on. Hello, welcome back. So the batsmen are just taking their time, just wandering out to the middle. So they have got a big 200 to chase for victory. So their innings about to get underway shortly. We'll see how that goes. Let's pull up the live scoring. I'll give you ball by ball commentary. I was just doing a few warm-ups there, getting ready. Batsman's just about to take his guard. About to get underway here. Batsman's just taking his guard. Umpires are ready. Fielders are set. Welcome back, my commentary partner, for the first ball. And it starts with a dot.
Right, well I'm hoping that there will be no more microphone bangs from my side.
No, I think we're all set now.
Yeah,
I think we've resolved the technical issues. We've got another plastic carrier bag just about to go straight across the pitch.
This is the equivalent of the Henry Blower's double-decker bus. That nearly got the stumps.
Oh,
Struck the pad, no appeal, was it?
yeah, looked like it's going well down leg to me. We'll start with 2 dots here, so a good start from the bowling side. I think the batting side will look to get on top quite quickly to try and chase down this 200. There's a good start. Lovely shot for 1 though, unfortunately.
I think the key to chasing is to preserve your wicket for a start, because you can always catch up a little bit later. But you've got to keep the scoreboard turning over, and therefore singles are vitally important in the early stages.
So not calm bowling. Another dot, so it's been a good start to this over. 1 run off the first 4 deliveries.
A shortish ball well outside the off stump, and didn't attract the umpire's attention for a wide.
So Jason's Jacob stats there, 14 innings, 4 not out. 2 runs.
And there's an identical ball,
There
and that also wasn't a wide apparently.
we go, end of the first over, just the 1 run conceded, so the bowling side will be very happy with that start.
Well, particularly with wides costing three runs if it's repeated.
I think that cost the American slide slightly, where they they bought quite a few wides, didn't they? And not only meant the extra delivery, but there was also a couple of wides in some overs, so it's costing them sort of 3 runs of delivery, which is very costly.
It's just a single. That wasn't really. That was off the. That was a leg by. In fact, off the pad.
Well bowled.
Now, 3 of the last 4 balls have been in exactly that spot. Short of a leg, so you can't drive. Outside the off stump, so they can't hit. And the umpire not interested in the wides.
No, I don't think they're anything like pushing the wide now. I just think it's good bowling. It's just that back of a length outside off stump. Very difficult for the batsman to get over it and drive it. It's a good take.
That must be, yes, it is a wide. How's it gone for?
No, it's a fantastic take from the wicketkeeper. I don't know if we'll see that one back, but very acrobatic from the wicketkeeper, flying down the leg side to take that one.
That should be a good replay if we can see that.
Sure we will, because that was a fantastic bit of wicketkeeping. We might not see it now, but I think we'll see it after this delivery. That's well bowled again. Just that sort of 5th stump line he's bowling there, really well outside the off stump.
There's a definite lack of technique in these batsmen so far. They're not getting behind the ball, they're nibbling at it and missing, they're swiping at it and missing. and they're just missing.
Wouldn't be surprised if he edges one of these. No, and gets off the mark. Any bat on that, or is
I
that?
don't think so, but we shall see.
Well, the umpire's not signalled leg byes, so
No, just
off the mark. So Sakanda did well with the bat, and now he's doing very well with the ball. That's well played, down to 5 man. Just the one. So the first 2 overs are definitely on the way of the bowling side. Yeah, just the
Yes,
4 runs from the first 2 overs. Yeah, falling behind the run rate already. I mean, it's not a huge problem with 18 overs to go.
well, certainly that's not a good enough start. You're certainly looking for 5 and over at the beginning.
Yeah, 5 or 6 and over maybe for the first 2, 3, 4 overs.
That's right.
Give yourself a nice platform into sort of that 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th over, and then you know, at least you've got 60 or 70 on the board to take into the final 10.
What does the second bowler do? That was
Nice
a fuller
shot.
length.
Just a dot ball.
Dot ball played straight back at him. And is this Sikanda the bowler, as it says on the screen?
No, it's just come off.
So the second bowler.
Mm.
That's a nice shot.
That's a nice shot, but just for one. They start trying to find some gaps in this field, don't they? They need a couple of boundaries quite quickly, I would have thought.
Need to find the gaps.
They don't want to go aerial too quickly, but they are batting at the end where they're helped out by the wind if they do go over the top. So we saw how that made a difference in the. Is that going to pierce the gap, or has he not got enough of it? Yeah, 4 runs.
4 runs, the first boundary of this innings.
Boundary. He's picked that one up, just dropped a little bit short there, the bowler, and has been just put between those 2 fielders for 4.
I think that ball was one of these slow bounces, because it rose off a length and took the batsman a little bit by surprise, so
The
it
slow
flat batted it down the leg side.
The slow bouncer that used to be called the long hop.
That's the insulting version.
Bowling as a youngster, if you bowled one of those, you wouldn't normally get told well done by the coach. So this is calm bowling. So 10 off 2.3 overs here, no wickets down. That's well played as well, but
That's
just for
going
1
straight
run.
to a fielder.
You can see the guys are struggling with the wind. He's lost his hat there. He's going to struggle. No, somebody's kindly grabbed it for him in the outfield. Yeah, the wind is causing all sorts of chaos here.
But Table Mountain has come into more or less full view now to us, looming over the ground.
Yeah, that's a wide ball. Yeah.
And also well stopped again by the wicketkeeper, who's been busy so far in this innings.
Have you been up?
Yes, have you?
I haven't yet, but I'm going to try to this week. It's
have
on
to.
my to-do list.
It is one of the world's greatest views.
Yeah.
Well, that was 4 byes for that one. The wicketkeeper failed to stop that one after stopping 2 earlier ones.
The end of the 3rd over. I do feel if this American side are going to get into this game, they need to just push the run rate a little bit. That's a good shot.
That's
Just going to be 1
slightly
run
in
unless
the
they
air.
really push it. They're going to go for 2. I think they will. They go. Oh, could be tight. Oh.
At this stage they've got to
not
go
out.
for those 2s because they're behind the rate that's required.
I think they made that 2 less comfortable than it could have been by not
Yeah.
running that first one hard enough. I think if you really push that first one hard and you can see that the ball's nowhere near the fielder, I think you can quite, as long as you're quick enough, you can make it back. So we've got Sakanda bowling now. First over went for just the 3 runs, so genuine all-rounder this chap. batted very nicely and is now bowling very well.
The English batsman, of course, drove along the ground. The Americans look as if they're going a little bit aerial, so we might see a catch or two in this particular innings.
I think the difference is that the length the bowlers are bowling now is just more that back of a length, whereas the American chaps were a little full at times, weren't they? And it just really just nice sort of half volley driving length. That's sort of when you have the bowling machine set to practice your driving. That it's yeah, I think the real difference here is the length that they've been bowling. It's just that back of a length, and they just can't get over the top of it.
Indeed.
Okay.
And that is definitely aerial, and it's going to be caught, indeed, and they're looking for the double play immediately. That batsman definitely didn't get over the top of the ball.
So you're absolutely right. You said there was going to be a catch, and indeed. 2 balls later, there we are.
Yep.
I think that's just a little bit of pressure, scoreboard pressure there. 18 off 3.2 overs. The batsman realised that he needs to try and pick up a few boundaries and kind of play a shot to a ball that's probably not there. We're going to see the replay of it now. It just looks a little bit too full to pull.
Well,
he cramped himself the room a little bit. It was quite close to him.
It was close to him, I agree with that, but I think that what's interesting me is these are American cricketers, which could be a sort of contradiction in language.
They're just not quite brought up playing cricket, I wouldn't think. Do you know what I mean? They're not brought up being coached and things like that. So you can see there's a little bit of baseball technique.
No idea where that was going.
Yeah.
Absolutely no idea.
I think the fact that the American team's come across there is absolutely fantastic. And
Oh,
brilliant
yes.
for sort of LMS. The fact that it's strong enough in America that guys will travel out here. That is
the only major nation that hasn't yet taken part in LMS is China.
Yeah. Well,
I suspect
there's
Wayne Green
probably
is working
plans
on it.
ahead. Yeah. A billion people there that could play cricket. So
Well, my company that's televising these games, these matches here, had connections with Chinese cricket about 4 or 5 years ago, when were a fairly new company, and there is a fair degree of cricket in the Shanghai area, but interestingly, there are more women playing cricket in China than men.
I think that can only be a good thing.
Well, of course it is. I'm not being critical about
Yeah.
it, but it's an interesting statistic.
That is very interesting, actually. Yeah, I think the women's game is only going to get better, particularly in England, on the fact that it's a fantastic women's performance in the World Cup.
Yes.
So we've got Michael Apollo's in now. He's played 4 matches, no not out. He's got 73 runs in total, average of 18.25. Good strike rate of 152 with a best of 29. So interesting to see if he can get his first 50 in LMS. What a fantastic place that would be to get it. You know, I've got a couple of games coming up later in the week, and I can't wait to play some cricket in South Africa. Lucky enough to play in Australia, and yeah, this is a beautiful place to play your cricket.
Some boys on the boundary who are playing football at a cricket ground, and inevitably the ball gets onto the ground.
I think that's part and parcel of every Saturday of cricket. So in now, and just a dot ball.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question because I don't actually know the answer to this. Am I right in saying that there's absolutely no reason why a woman shouldn't play in a men's team in last man's cricket?
I don't have a problem with it at all. Yeah, I think it's absolutely fine. I don't think there's a problem.
So mixed teams are permitted. Your face tells me neither of us actually know.
We don't know the answer.
We don't know the answer.
We should
We'll have
probably
to find
double
that
check
out.
with each other before we ask questions that we know the answers. We will research that and get back to you. I know in the Southampton leagues that we've played in, there's a couple of girls that have played as sort of ring-ins or fill-ins for one of the teams. And
that's going to be out.
that's
That's a
direct hit.
brilliant
That's a
throw
fantastic
from
bit of
square
fielding.
cover point. Brilliant throw, and that's a second wicket down for.
That fantastic bit of fielding is going to cover our slip-up up.
Absolutely. I mean, he only had one stump to aim at, and he hit the square in the middle.
No, that's a fantastic bit of fielding. The Stallions really turning the screw here.
Watch this. Here he goes.
Oh, there's one there all day long.
Where's the fielder? There he is.
One-handed pick
Woof.
up.
Yep.
Batsman's giving
That
it
is
up.
a
Well,
fantastic throw.
yeah, well done. We'll have to find out who that fielder was, because that deserves a bit of a mention. That was a fantastic bit of fielding. These guys look like they practice their fielding, don't they? Very disciplined in the field.
I think that could go on in the archive
In
for
the
the
highlights.
TV people to be shown at the end of this
So
the
there's
competition.
Jason Jacobs making his way to Actors Pavilion. A little bit disappointed. 7 off 9 balls there. But yeah.
I think 99 times out of 100 you'd have got your second run there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you get out to a direct hit 40 yards from the stumps with one stump to aim at, you sort of just have to hold your hand up there and say well fielded.
Absolutely. So there's a ball that's just dribbling down to what used to be known as fine leg, although he's squarer than fine.
So we've got Hassan Rahman bowling. He's got 3 deliveries, just the 2 runs conceded. So we've had the 2 wickets in the innings. One's gone to Secunda and the one.
There's another wicket. Clean bowled.
And a big celebration from Rahman
I
there.
don't know why the bowler was appealing to the umpire.
I don't know if he was appealing. I think he might have been celebrating. We'll have to double check.
Celebrating with the umpire. I think we'll have to launch an inquiry into that one. But the bails were well off.
I think we've given the bails up in these conditions. It's just too windy. I think they the first game we tried all of about 4 deliveries, and then
But we've seen bails in this particular
no,
game,
they're
have
off.
we not?
No bails.
All right.
It's just too
I
windy.
see. Oh well.
So here's the
maybe
wicket.
that's what the bowler was appealing for.
Oh, that's well bowled. It's just celebrating, I think.
Yeah.
No appeal there, so you can see the batsman just trying to work that down the leg side. Probably a little bit too straight to try and do that, and it's just moved away from him and taken him sort of middle and off stump.
So here's another question. When bails are there, are they the kind that flash orange?
No, they're not. They're just the standard ones, because there's no nighttime cricket, unfortunately. No floodlights here, so we've tried the zing bails, but in the daylight they don't really do anything. You can't see any different.
Well, the next thing is to invent a bail that makes a noise that can be picked up by the TV camera crew. So it can be beyond doubt.
Yeah. So there's in shot is the Old Falls side from Melbourne. I think their game's on next. So there's Michael Apollo's, unfortunately bowled by Rahman there for 2 off 5 deliveries. So unfortunately back in the pavilion. And the Westfield and Columbian Moose are currently 21 for 3 after 5 overs.
Yes, I'm afraid they're being outplayed very substantially by the English team.
Very strong English team, though I must admit. They're not. I can't take that away from them. They are good cricket inside, these guys. You can see the way they've batted and bowled. They're a very well drilled LMS side. They've clearly played quite a bit of this. Bowler's just changing his field a few bits and pieces. So the wicketkeeper's he coming up to the stumps. We're going to see a bit of spin here, or is he making his way
Yes,
back?
looks like spin coming on.
The umpire.
A bit more fielding adjustments by the skipper.
They look like they're taking a power play. So they've got the 4 on the offside and the 2 on the legs. No, they're not. I thought they were going to take the fielding power play, which is where you allowed 4 fielders on either side of the field for 3 overs. Normally it's 3 and 3 as a requirement.
Well, they've now got a fielder on the boundary at mid-on.
Yeah, we've just gone back to the standard 3 and
Catching
3.
position.
So we're going to see a little bit of spin now. It'll be interesting to see this.
Left arm around the wicket.
Oh,
Just
one.
a single. Yes, this is the first genuine spin that we've watched in this game. There's been some interesting variations, and that was a direct hit on the stumps of the bowler's end, but obviously they weren't running, so no question of that, but well thrown anyway. And now the bowler's coming
today.
left arm over to the left-hander.
I'm going to try and turn this back into him. Got a perfect view of it. Oh,
Interesting.
Don't know if there's any turn out there today. Didn't look like there was, did there? It's a bit fresh, the pitch, for that. I think maybe in a couple of days' time we might see it start to really turn. Oh, is that miss stumping? Let's see the replay of that. I'm not quite sure if the wicketkeeper, if the batsman dragged his foot out of the crease. I'll do a little bit of wicket keeping, and stumpings I think are probably the most difficult bit about standing up, because you've got so much to contend with. You've got bats flying through your eye line, you've got the ball, you've got it's not an easy job being a wicket keeper.
Absolutely. Left arm round to the right hander.
Oh, big appeal.
Yes, he's been given out to
I
LBW.
think that's probably the right decision.
a
Back leg in
wild
front
shot.
of all 3.
Oh no, wild shot across the line. And this is naive batting, I'm afraid, by the Americans.
They're 4 down already with 5 overs gone. They just need to just bat a little bit more time and just see what position they can get themselves into.
Well, there comes a stage where you're never going to win the game with shots like that, and with wickets going and overs depleting. Almost the best thing for the Americans to do is to get a little bit of experience out in the middle, balls under the belt, and try and play proper shots. As
yeah, I just think it'd be nice. They've come all the way here. Just take your time. Just value your wicket a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? You can probably see that you're not going to win the game, but you know, try and get yourself a 50. Now we're in a position where you can almost just bat a little bit selfishly. Just enjoy yourself. You know, probably the best cricket ground I've ever been to.
Well, you haven't been to the Newland Stadium yet, have you?
I did go last night.
You went last night.
I did go last. I mean, for club cricket. This
right,
is.
yeah.
And actually, I probably shouldn't say that in case the Bashley lads are listening. The chairman will not be very happy if I'm praising another ground. I mean, we're very spoilt in the south that the pitches are superb. But I must admit, you'd be very lucky to play your club cricket here every Saturday.
Well, we have a good ground at my club in
I'll have to come
Glasgow,
and visit.
but it's a very elongated ground. It has something like 13 or 14 pitches.
Yeah.
And we play cricket in Scotland because the weather is a little bit variable. But my task as the fixture secretary is to make sure there's a game scheduled every single day of every week for 20 weeks in the season.
Yeah, that's not easy, is it? Unfortunately,
because we lose so many games to the rain.
Yeah.
If you don't have a game and the sun's shining, you feel cheated.
Yeah. Because the amount of times you get up on a Saturday and it's raining, you just think, oh no.
Well, Saturdays are taken care of by the league,
Yeah.
because that's just a full league throughout the season.
No, I must
Anyway.
admit, it would be nice to play some cricket in Scotland. Maybe I'll talk to the Bashley chaps and see if we can come up for a tour game.
You would be very welcome.
I don't know if any of the Bashley lads are listening and you want to send me a message saying why on earth are you trying to organise a tour to Scotland, but I think it would be fantastic.
Because it's different.
It would be different. We tend to go down to Devon, actually. We tend to go down to Barnstable
Yes.
for our cricket tours. We used to go to the Isle of Wight, and then we've changed it to Devon, so we haven't picked a venue for next year yet. So,
Well,
and I really like Glasgow, actually. I haven't been for a couple of years, but I do really like Glasgow. It's a nice city. And very
Yes.
close to Edinburgh as well, so you can
Yes,
sort of
indeed.
see a
Well,
little bit of both.
my ground, Clydesdale Cricket Club, is in the south side suburb of Pollokshields, surrounded by lovely big houses and so on. And our club was founded in 1848, so we know how to put on a show. And we are one of the approved international grounds for Scotland.
Oh, fantastic. It's a beautiful place to play cricket. But we can get back to a little bit of commentary.
Yeah, well, there's a nice shot into the covers. Are they going to go for two? Not this time.
I
Not
think
with that.
they- don't go now. If
Because
you
that
wanna-
was the fielder that hit the stumps, I think.
Yeah, I think with those twos you've got to make your mind up and go. If you have any sort of hesitation, these guys are too strong in the field. I know there was a slight misfield there, but I don't think it was far enough away from him that it was ever that they could run two. So yeah, just pick up 26 for 4 now, off 6.4 overs. The guys bowling really quite well and fielding particularly well. You can see how athletic they are in the field. They really get about quickly and all know their jobs in the field. I haven't seen many teams actually yet from this tournament, so it'll be interesting to see who in terms of favourites are. I know there's been a couple of big scores in other grounds today, a couple of big 200s, but it'll be interesting to see how we go as the tournament progresses.
Next game. Right, well, I'm able to say to you that we are graced behind the scenes here at the Western Province Cricket Club ground just underneath Table Mountain in Cape Town, with the arrival of one of the legends of international South African cricket, none other than Omar Henry, and he's going to do the commentary in the next 2 games, I think.
Fantastic. I'm sure you'll make a fantastic commentary pair.
Well, I'm not sure whether I'll be commentating or whether it'll be you, Luke. We'll have to see.
I was just talking to one of my friends about a spot of lunch after
Oh,
this.
well, if you have a spot of lunch, I'll have a spot of lunch later.
No, I must admit, I can't think of any better ways to spend my Saturday lunchtime.
But I don't think this game is going to go to the full 20 overs, is it?
No, unfortunately not. I mean, these guys are making a decent effort of it. They're batting quite sensibly here and just using up a little bit of time, but I don't think the result's in any doubt. But like we were saying, they can just go out there and enjoy their bat now, can't they?
Well, you need time in the middle when you're not used to batting.
They got 3 more games. They got 2 more games after this one, so a little bit of time out in the middle, and then probably a little bit of time in the nets wouldn't go amiss.
Every team has 4 games. They have 3 games in the pool.
Yep.
But then they either go into the top half last 16 or the bottom half last to the plate 16. There's an overthrow giving them 2 runs. So everybody gets 4 games, and then if you want more than 4 games, you could have up to 7 if you get into the final of whichever half of the the final stages, because they're all knockout games then.
Ooh, what's happened there?
That one gone? Is that
It's going to be buys, is it, I think?
Yes, it was sclaffed, as we say in Scotland.
So we've got Kawaja bowling now.
That was a buy, yes.
Yeah. The one thing that worries me is when wicket keepers don't wear helmets. I must admit, whenever I stand up, I do put a helmet on, only because it's not the small nicks and things like that. It's the edges that you can't account for. It's not the genuine sort of cricket. It's when you get a big edge or something that flies somewhere. You just can't control that. So, but then admittedly, a lot of wicket keepers say that they really don't like keeping in them.
I would imagine it's more of a hindrance than anything else. I mean, at junior level, it's obligatory for juniors to wear helmets.
And I think they should be as well.
But they wear the pads underneath their trousers these days. They're only small ones.
It's just, I just think it means that they're just that much more mobile, aren't they? Because they haven't got great big pads like they used to have strapped on.
That's right.
So we've got Dale September batting with Ashwin Venkat. So they've got a nice little partnership going here. There's a wide ball, and they're going to pick up an extra one. So 2 wides there. So the bowling figures so far, they're quite strong. Run rate's just 4.38 and the required rate is 13.75. So they need one of these batsmen to really kick on from here.
There's another piece of plastic sails along the ground, over the ground.
You can see how seriously, there's another wide.
That's 3 runs to the batsman. Because all extras go to the batsman in this form of cricket.
Very handy runs for Mr. Venkat down there.
We don't bother with subtle extras like wides and no balls and everything. Everything goes to the batsman.
It's interesting, obviously, I don't know if you can quite see it in shot, but the square leg umpire is currently doing the scoring as well, which is where we're getting all this fantastic information from. So as the umpire updates the scorecard on his phone, it's being sent straight through to my phone, which is why I can bring you the score and all the batsmen's details. So just another way that LMS is really kicking on and using technology.
Well, it's important to say that actually you can follow the live scores online at www.lastmanstands.com, and all you have to do is to go to the fixtures list and find the current fixture that's live on that list. And this is
that's well fielded. Batsman slipped over. We've got batsman at the wrong end. It's absolute chaos out there.
This is the match between the Stallions from England
and Westfield and Columbian Moose.
Columbian Moose from the United States. It's the 2nd game at the Western Province Cricket Club ground, the Wally Wilson Oval here in Cape Town, live from Cape Town.
So we've got 4 games on today in total. Yeah, this is the 2nd, and we've got another 2 to bring you back to back after this. And I believe we've all got to go and put our shirts on and head off to the opening ceremony.
In the big Newland Stadium.
Yeah, in the long room.
Ah, that's right. Well, as a matter of fact, there are 4 games a day, and that's all. Well, there are 4 grounds being used, and the only television comes from the Wally Wilson ground. There are 29 games in 8 days coming from this ground, going out live on live streamed television.
So we've got a lot of commentary to do over the next 8 days.
Well, I'm sure we'll have a lot of help from other people.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, this is the 2nd game, and you can keep in touch with any of the games, live scores on www.lastmanstands.com. And good luck finding that online. Shouldn't be difficult. Google lastmanstands.com and you're almost there.
So talking of long rooms, because we went into the one last night at the stadium, have you been to the Lords?
I have once,
Yeah.
many years ago. Many years ago. Is it anything like that?
I've not been. I've seen it on the television, obviously. So I think now I've been to that one, I thought I might have to book myself onto one of those tours of Lords and go and have a look, because it's the home of cricket and everything. It's a bit of a shame that I've never been. I live 2 hours from the ground and I've never been there. So
Well,
I don't think the he's given it.
LBW has been given.
The batsman doesn't like it.
Batsman doesn't like it, but then when did you ever meet a batsman that liked to be out?
Oh, I know when I'm out. I've got a terrible habit of walking across in front of my stumps and trying to work it to leg, and often I'll get hit and I think, oh, I might as well just walk.
Well, Luke, you are unique.
I think that comes from umpiring a lot of last man stands.
Well,
you sort of have a certain amount of sympathy with umpires, because even when you're doing last man stands, it's a lot to think about, and that's why I think test match umpires are so good. At that speed, the amount of decisions that they get correct
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It really is a credit to them, because it's not easy. I mean, we don't get put under the scrutiny when you're umpiring last man stands if it was a correct decision or not, because apart from these games, we've not got a lot televised. But
the only person who is right on the field of play is the umpire. Everybody else is speculatively wrong.
But you are correct. There's a lot of batsmen that do not like being out. So unfortunately, that's the end of Dale September's innings. 5 off the 8 balls there. LBW to Ejas. So I don't know if we're going to see a replay of that wicket. Batsman's just taken his guard. Be interesting to see if we can get it from the sort of front-on view as to the LBW. The umpires have been very strong though today. I think I haven't seen a lot of decisions that have been questioned or anything like that. So I think they've got some very good umpires in this cricket. So I'm feeling if we do see the replay, it'll be correct. So is this a batsman with the trousers, his pads on inside of his trousers?
Could be.
I've got a feeling it is. I mean, we're talking about wicketkeepers having the pads on inside their trousers, but I don't think I've ever seen a batsman do it before.
Well, that's interesting. Saves buying clads.
Yeah, there you are.
Yes.
Just get small pads and put them on the inside of your trousers.
That's an interesting one.
There we go.
I'll just see if our boys wish to do that.
I wonder if that's going to catch on.
That's right.
I don't think my pads are going to fit inside my trousers. I've got quite big old-fashioned ones.
Our cameramen behind the bowler's arm are having trouble keeping the camera steady in this wind, so just spare a thought for them.
I hope they've got... Oh, Westfield there, 4 runs.
Is that only the second boundary of this innings? Yeah, it's not been...
So Ashwin Venkat out there is batting quite well. He's 16 off 16 deliveries now, so I think that deserves a mention. He's
that's all right.
got a huge partnership.
Jeffrey Boycott would have a few words to say about...
a few words to say about a lot of things, old Jeffrey, isn't he? Not that I disagree with all of them, but sometimes I think he'd just be controversial for the sake of being...
He's never 100% happy, is he?
He's not what you'd call happy-go-lucky.
That's right.
He's had a fantastic career, hasn't he? As a cricketer and then as a commentator. And I just think, why would you ever retire? I mean, just keep doing it whilst you can. Out in Australia at the moment, gets to go all over the world watching cricket. It's a very nice thing to do. So did your job take you all over the place with the television?
No, not really, because I'm, as I say, very elderly these days. No, it's a young man's game, television.
Yeah.
It just so happens I'm in Cape Town at the same time as our team. Last week, this same team was doing the World Junior Table Tennis Championships from Northern Italy.
Oh, okay.
So they get around the place
Yeah,
quite
they
a
do
bit.
get to go around. That's nice job if you can get them.
Hopefully you did that.
So they're based with you out in Glasgow?
Yeah, we're all based in Glasgow, and we only have about 10 or a dozen full-time employees. We use a lot of freelance camera people in particular. 2 of the camera people here are freelance, and they become very good cameramen. I think the best cameraman for cricket in the world is here today.
Oh, fantastic.
Working for us.
So the Westfield and Columbian Moose innings just ticks over 50, so well done guys. 50 for 5 off 10.2 overs. He's worked that one down nicely, down to fine leg. Just going to pick up the 1.
They're not going for 2s. Not going for 2s. So next week, in fact this weekend, at the same time, we're also covering the Scottish Swimming Short Course Championships from the pool in Edinburgh, I think it is. And
Oh, he's hit that well.
that's a nice hit, but it's been fielded
well
on the boundary,
fielded.
so it's only one. And next week we are filming the pantomime for Scottish television.
Fantastic.
So there's a sport for you we haven't
Yeah.
done before.
No, you're not getting that one, I don't think. So Venkat's batting nicely here, 17 off 17 deliveries. Yeah, 52 off 5, so they need 150 off 9.1 overs. We'll see how they get on with that chase, but yeah, I think that for the guys over from America, first game in South Africa, been a little bit of a learning curve. I hope they're all enjoying it, it's been good to watch.
Well, we're now under a bright blue sky, which is cloudless except for the remains of the tablecloth on Table Mountain.
I think if you look
That's-
really closely, you can see quite a few people up there on the edge.
Yes.
No, I must admit, I'm going to try and get up there Monday. I think we've got a day off, so I'm going to try and get up there on Monday. Although, I don't know if I'm going to try and walk it or take the cable car.
Well, I think the cable car is a treat. It's 2 hours to walk up, in case you didn't know.
2 hours.
Yeah, and it's about 15 minutes to go up by cable car.
Mm.
Take your pick.
Well, just the one run. Down to mid-on.
But the Cape Town locals will tell you at 8 o'clock in the morning whether Table Mountain will be open that day.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But obviously, if there's the cloud over it, then you're not allowed up, are you?
Well, they just closed the cables.
Yeah.
You can climb up if you wish to. I don't know that I'd advise it.
I think I might wait for a nice clear day to really get up there and make the most of the
It'll be
views.
very windy up on top there, I can tell you,
Yeah.
for free.
I don't really like heights either, so I don't know how much I'm going to enjoy it up there.
That's a very comfortable single. They're not going to take the second one, even though the bowler's end wicket is not guarded, because the bowler came out to field the ball as well as the fielder.
I think if they're a little bit more proactive with how they ran the first one, they might get away with a few more twos here, because like you say with LMS, it made a big difference in the first inning. They ran their twos very well. They pushed that first one very hard and then ran the second one really well. It's a good shot down the ground for one there. These two are batting nicely actually, 57 for 5 off 11.4 overs. And just firing a little bit back
That's the
here.
end of the over, in fact, now.
Ashwin Venkat moves on to 20 off 21 deliveries. Our batsman's 5 off 6 deliveries.
Ijaz. Was that Ijaz's over we've just had?
Yeah.
Yep.
His figures of 2 for 11 with 1 wicket taken, so the bowlers have all bowled very well here.
And I'm not sure what this... That's a very late cut, but it goes down straight down to a fielder in that position at a fine third man. So just a single, and this is the story of the American innings. Singles have been their main run scoring ability.
So this is the opening batsman,
And that's been
Kadir, onto bowl, so he's backing up his 50 with the bat with a tidy bowling performance here. Currently just the 2 runs conceded from the 2 deliveries as the wicket-keeper's hat has gone nearly to the boundary.
It's going to be a 4, I think.
No, and he's given that one up as a bad job.
Yes,
As it's gone careering off the
4
pitch and
runs
just sat just off
for
the
the hat.
boundary. And the balloon's off flying across the
Oh
pitch.
dear. Well, there you are. That should go viral if you clip that one.
Oh, 1 run down to fine leg.
It's one of the features of QTV Sports coverage is that we use a special software to clip some interesting bit live.
Ah,
So if they're big on that one, that'll now be on Facebook.
fantastic. We'll, oh, that's too short.
Oh, that's going to be caught.
Oh no! 4
Went
runs.
over his head. I can't believe that.
I
It
think
was going
just
straight at him.
Come running in too quick, I think. Big top edge down to third man. Fine leg, sorry, and he's not sure if we're going to see that one back, but it looks like he ran in too fast and then went over the top of him.
Yep, the wind must have just carried it going in that direction.
It'd be nice to see one of these batsmen get a 50 if they can bat on through. So he's Kadir bowling. Like we mentioned earlier with the bat, he opened the innings very nicely for his team. No. And that's the end of the over for Kadir. So 65 off 13 overs.
I just want to see that last ball again because it seemed incredibly wide and you know, slightly high, but it was a rising ball. It wasn't easy to cover. However, we march on into the 14th over. 65 for 5, never going to get anywhere near the target of 200.
I don't know, I think you're being a bit pessimistic then. I think this is going to be a good game to win from here.
It would certainly be.
The other optimist.
I'm happy to take a bet with you.
I want some very good odds though. And we've got bowling now.
One of the great attractions of cricket is the unexpected.
So Ijaz back in for his third over. Figures currently of 1 for 12 off 2.2 deliveries. I must say all the bowlers have picked up a wicket each except for Khan and Kadir. So sharing the workload around here. They've not had one bowler that's come on and really ripped through a team. Oh, they're going to go for 2 here. Ooh. There we go. The first 2 we've seen since the run out.
Yeah,
so well run.
Well, the spinners have been nice and tidy, haven't they?
Yeah, we talked about that in the first innings, didn't we?
Yes.
Then unfortunately the American side didn't have a spinner, did they? So oh yeah, like I said, we do think a decent spinner just really dries things up, and as long as they don't drift too full or too short, they I always find spinner quite difficult to put away, or good spinner. So Venkat moves on to 23, and apologies if I get this wrong, but Cabral 13 off 12 deliveries. Oh,
clean bowled, middle stump.
23 off 24 deliveries there, and Venkat is unfortunately on his way back to the pavilion. That takes the score to 69 for 6. We've got 6 overs to go, so I think the English guys will be looking to wrap this one up with the last 2 wickets and then be on their way.
And there's an indication of the wind.
Yeah, you can see that in the background. And the wicket-keeper's just on his way to fetch his hat now. There we go.
Scored 4 before the Americans had scored 4 almost. Yes, that's a heavy wind in the background, which you can see. And you see the slope of the trees there, bending over permanently.
Yeah, you can see it's a very windy part of Cape Town, this. We're just waiting for the next batsman to come out of the field.
Well, this area, this is the Western Province Cricket Club's club ground, which has several ovals, as they like to call them in South Africa. This is the main one, the Wally Wilson Oval, and just in the distance, no more than a mile away, walking distance, is the Newland Stadium, which last night hosted a thrilling match between 2 provincial sides.
It was a good cricket match, wasn't it? Last ball.
Went to the second last ball, I think.
Ooh,
that's
be a 4.
That's a 4. That's an unusual shot, but well done.
There's one way to hit 4. Take it from right outside off stump and whack it back
Was that his first ball?
Back behind square. That is his first ball.
Stand there.
Yeah, Naya on strike. First ball for 4. So maybe the comeback is on. If Naya gets a very quick 100, you never know.
Put your money down.
I've seen some very quick 100s in last man stand. So so here we are, 19 innings, 5 not out, 249 runs at an average of 17.79. He's going to pick up one there.
I'm going to top your
Oh, he's
story
going to go
there.
for two. No.
In one of our matches in 2016, and for Fulton's Flyers this is, we were sitting at precarious, something like 25 for 5 wickets. Somebody came in, and he was still in at the end, and off the last ball in the innings he made his 100.
Yeah. Well, I've got a story that involves one of the LMS guys that works here, Rob Stevenson, who helps run LMS Australia. We had one of our first games down in the forest, and Jim Edwards was playing for Ellingham Cricket Club, and he was 97 off about 30 balls, and he was at the non-strikers end, so Rob was batting at the other end, and he said, I'll get one, put you on strike, so you've got 4 balls to get your 100. And he hit one straight to a fielder, said yes, and ran Mr. Edwards out by half a pitch. So talking of good hundreds in LMS, Rob Stevenson has ruined a good 100 for Jim Edwards there, and he
Well, you see, this is what the fun of LMS is.
Yeah.
There's always something going on.
yeah, he's been nicknamed the New Forest Run Machine because he just absolutely gets 50s for fun in our midweek competition down there.
Well,
And
it
he
wasn't
gets
Nayu who scored the 4, it was Kabari
Ah.
who scored the 4, just looking at the thing there. Now that's almost vertical. Will it be caught in the deep
That'll
now?
be a good catch.
Oh, it's
Oh, he's
dropped
going to go
again.
for
It's
4.
going for 4,
Yeah,
yeah, it's gone
4
for 4.
runs.
And the first ball the first catch that fielder missed went over his head, carried by the wind.
Yes, I must admit, fielding in this wind is difficult. As soon as the ball goes up, it's really spiralling around, and it's really difficult to judge your distances.
And one thing that interests me also, the fielders are not, generally speaking, any of them. I haven't seen a pair of sunglasses out there at all. Maybe the bowler here has got sunglasses, but
The
that's
chap
all.
down here at sort of mid-wicket has got... Oh, that's very high.
Oh, that's
Well, this will
very
be a
high.
good
Will it
catch.
go?
No, see how it's
Oh.
getting caught up in the wind?
Yes, absolutely.
Nowhere near it in the end. It comes down straight, doesn't it?
Fell only 3/4 of the way to the boundary. It was a good hit.
Yeah, we probably won't see the arc of it, but when that ball's gone up in the air, it's got to a point, and then it's just hit and then dropped down. It's like when you're playing golf on a really windy day, and you put a
Yes.
9-iron up there, and it just stops and then drops almost dead straight.
Well, it's definitely a day for sunglasses, in my view.
Yeah.
It's very bright, the sky.
So Cabrari's there, moved on to 24 off 16, 81 off 6. So it'd be nice to see if the Westfield and Columbian Mooses can sneak their way up to 100. They've got 5 overs to do it.
That would be
90
satisfying,
Yeah,
wouldn't it, for
that
them?
would be
Yes.
nice.
They'd feel happy coming off the ground.
Ooh, Nick.
Is that an inside edge?
Inside edge.
Yeah.
So looks like it's
And
missed
they're
us
going
over,
for
going
2.
for 2. They're going to make 2 comfortably now. There's the misfield.
So 83 for 6. We're in the 16th over.
Kadir bowling his... No, we've got Ijaz bowling his last over. He's picked up 2 wickets for 15 runs, so he's bowled very nicely. Bowled with quite a lot of control. We've got Nair 1 not out, and we've got Kabrai 24 not out off 16 balls. So 2 batsmen for the American guys have bowled.
Big appeal there
Big
by
appeal.
Ijaz.
I'm not quite sure what for.
Hands on hips.
I don't know if he was appealing for a caught behind, and he presumed the wicketkeeper had taken it, or he was appealing for an LBW. Therefore, get a replay of that one.
Here's the no, it's not.
No, coming back in now.
That
He's
may
worked
well.
that very fine, but fielder's
Oh.
round to cut it off, and just
No,
the 1
the
run.
fielder did get it. It was a leaf that blew past, which I thought was a ball.
It's not ideal fielding conditions out
Here
here,
comes
is
another
it?
piece of plastic
Let's get-
sailing across the ground. Wind assisted. You can see from the flapping clothing of the wicketkeeper.
Oh,
Oh,
misfield.
was that dropped?
1 run, no, I think it bounced comfortably in front of him. Just a misfield, just the 1 run. That's the end of the over. I think we've got a slight delay on our scoring on the screen here, so I'll keep you more up to date.
85 for 6 it says now on the screen.
There we go. Yep, caught up with us.
And 16 overs gone. Another 4 to go.
We're 84 for 6. See the trees in the background there. It's really blowing a gale down here today. I don't think that's taken away from any of the enjoyment of it though. It's absolutely packed up here with teams from all around the world. Everyone's in very good spirits, all getting on. Everyone's very friendly. It's been a fantastic opening day to the competition, really.
Oh yes, I mean, if you can play cricket, whatever the weather conditions are doing, that's a big advantage, isn't it? Wind? Doesn't matter at all.
No.
It's the same for both sides.
Just trying to get the bowler for you, just waiting for that to update. Just set that down just for the 1 run.
And in Scotland, if you don't play cricket while it's raining, you don't play cricket very often.
So the umpire's deliberately lenient on if it rains
Yes,
in
yes.
what you're playing?
Yeah.
Yeah, just because otherwise you just don't get enough cricket in.
If it starts to rain while you're out there, they wait quite a long time
Until
before
it gets
taking
really
you off.
heavy, yeah. So we've got Shabazz Khan bowling now. This is his 3rd over. Current figures are 2.2 overs, none for 10.
See, none of these American batsmen are actually timing the ball at all. It's not coming off the meat of the bat. So they're trying to hit it too hard, and the net result is they're getting the bottom of the bat, which is dead.
Yeah, and the Stallion guys really did time the ball incredibly well this morning. Oh!
Is that an edge?
I thought I heard something there as well, but I'm not
Let's see
quite
if
sure.
we can tell from a replay if that's coming up.
Well, the wicketkeeper's made a bit of a gesture to the bowler. I think there might have been a bit of a nick on that.
Well, we're not going to see the replay now because this is live.
That's a nice shot. Just for 1 though.
Another single.
They've just picked a lot of fielders today, haven't they? Or when they have found the gaps, they've just not quite timed it well enough just to beat the fielders, and the fielders have managed to get round and cut it off.
Somebody is going to be able to tell me what kind of birds these are in the outfield.
I hope you're not going to ask me again. It's one of these where if you are going to ask me a question, can you make sure I've double checked the answer? But if you give me 10 minutes, I'll get back to you. Quickly Google it.
There are 3 of them enjoying the greenery, waiting for the worm to surface. Here's Ijaz again. No, it's not Ijaz, is it? It's
I will tell you as soon as it updates. Is that a no ball? Yeah, no
it's
ball.
a no
So we've got
ball,
a free
yes.
hit.
Free hit coming up.
So 1 run to the batsman plus the run he scored, and then it's a free hit for his partner. So he's got Nair on strike. Oh,
Well,
and he's
that should be
timed
4
that.
because there's
Lovely.
no fielder there.
Yeah, lovely use of the free hit there. So
That
all
wasn't hit hard, that was just
timed.
glided round.
So all free hits in LMS are all no balls in LMS are free hits. So they've made the most of that one.
So do we not know who the bowler is yet?
Just waiting for that to update.
As this information comes from the umpire in the middle.
I think unfortunately it's more my phone that's playing up a little bit. Well, that's a good bouncer.
That's out of expectation. Because he's only a slow bowler, but he certainly whipped his
Put
arm
back
over
into
there.
that one a little bit more, didn't I? I didn't think he liked being hit for 4 off the off the free hit. A little bit of frustration coming out there, maybe. But the Westfield and Columbian Mooses are sneaking their way up to that 100. They're 94 for 6 now. Oh, that's up in the air. Is he going to get there? It's going to
No,
drop short.
don't think so. Yeah.
Just the 1 man. 95. 5 runs to go for the 100.
Well, I think they will make it. Well done, the Americans.
Although the required run rate to win is now 40.38 and over, so we won't mention that.
No.
We're talking about the
Be
100.
positive about the
Yeah.
100, yes.
And I think Cabrari does need a round of applause when he comes back in because he's batted very well. Unfortunately my live scoring is not updating, so unfortunately I can't bring you the bowler's name, and it may well be that the 96 for 6. So Cabrari 27 off 19. And Nair 5 off 9. So if we get a 4 here, when 100 is complete, and then the guys can see how much more they can get over that.
Well, he's bowling pretty well, whoever he is.
No, I think it's the opening bowler again. That just can't be sure. Oh, there we are. It's updated. That was Sikanda. Yeah, the guy that got the runs and the and has bowled very nicely. That's 3 overs, 1 for 12. So
he knows a bit about cricket.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, just bowling that really nice back of a length outside up stump line, and only going at 4 and over, which with only 6 fielders is a very good effort.
Indeed.
And it's actually, from the looks of it, it looks like a very reasonable batting track out there today.
Yep.
You get 200, score of close to 200, you're pretty safe that it's a good batting track. Missed that. Just trying him out with a little bit of short stuff at the moment, as we enter the second to last over. 2 overs to go. Scores 96 for 6. Got Nair 6 off 11 and Kabrari 32 off 22 balls. And this is Khan completing his last over. His figures are 3.1 overs, 0 for 12, so again very economical. Well, that's a big full toss though. That's up in the air. It's going to drop safe. They're going to look for 2 here, I would have thought. Yeah, and comfortably make the 2. Full toss there. Tried to help it round the corner with the use of the wind when just unfortunately didn't get hold of it enough.
It's been a characteristic of the American batsmen that they've preferred to try and go aerial, whereas in fact in these windy conditions it's quite usual for, if you go along the ground, it'll get there just as quickly, if not quicker.
Yeah, unless you're going downwind, if you can get it up and over then, but hitting into that wind would be, it's a big hit to hit that straight down the ground with the wind. Just the 1 there, I'm up to 99, the 6 off 18.3, so the 100 will be up shortly. So it'd be interesting to see who's on next.
Well,
you guys are on at...
We're on at 4 o'clock.
You're on at 4 o'clock,
so
and there's the 4 runs. That's a lovely cricket shot.
I've got the...
That's the Old Fools versus Alex Cheaps at 1:30, and then Fulton Flyers versus Langer Cricket Club at 4 o'clock. So we should just stop there. 103 for 6, so well done to Westfield and Columbian Mooses, 100 up. Kabrari sneaking close to a 50. He's going to have to go a little bit in the last over if he wants it. He's 35 off 25 balls, but he's batted very nicely for his team here. Yeah, very good effort. Nair's chipped in with 10 off 12. Not quite sure why we've just put the required run up on the board. It was a little harsh from the from the graphics team, but 97 required from 6 balls. We haven't had that up all game until there's 6 balls to go.
It's difficult unless you're a mathematician. Target 200 makes more sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, let's leave it at that. But yeah, no, the guys from America have been very good. Played with a lot of commitment. Gave everything in the field. It's just one of those they've come up against a very good side here. Yeah, just come up against a very good cricketing side, but hopefully they've enjoyed their day. They'll be back the day after for another game. So 4 o'clock. I'm looking forward to your game at 4 o'clock.
Well, so are we.
I have to get a picture of the trousers.
Absolutely. There's plenty to look forward to other than the cricket.
Yeah. It's a dot ball. Start the last over.
It's worth mentioning that tomorrow's programme, there are 3 pool matches to begin with at 9 o'clock, 11:40 and 14:10, and then at 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon there's a big charity match in aid of the Gary Kirsten Foundation, which has...
Oh, well, we run out.
Yeah, he's run out.
Didn't run his batting, did he? Ran his bat in the air.
Unlucky.
That's unfortunate. I think that's Kabrari who's going to be out there, but for a very well made 35. Yeah, the charity match tomorrow I think is going to be a good spectacle. 5 o'clock.
2 teams of all stars. Some of whom are last man stands players, some of whom are not, I think.
Yeah, I think there's a few players that have played quite a lot of last man stands playing in some of those matches. I don't know if the teams have been finalised yet, but there's...
Gary Kirsten playing, do you know?
I don't know. No, again, you...
Herschel Gibbs might be playing.
Herschel Gibbs might be playing.
He's the patron of the last man stands
World
Championships.
He did he play in the game up at your cricket club in Scotland?
Yes, Fulton's Flyers against Herschel Gibbs' big guns.
Yeah.
And Herschel Gibbs was the last man stands.
Oh, here we go. We've got Nair as last
Yeah.
man stand. I think we should just call it back to this. He's gone for 2 and
That's
he's
out.
out.
Yes.
Sorry guys, we should have given you a little bit more context there. There's the last man stands rule, so there's no need to have another runner with you. The
gotta
last
go for
player
2.
bats on his own, but you can only score in 2s, 4s and 6s. So I think huge credit there goes to Farani Taylor Stallions for a very well won game of cricket, but a lot of respect to the Westfield and Columbian Mooses for a great effort against a very good cricketing side. Well,
Indeed, well, as I was saying, in the match in Glasgow, it was a demonstration match. Herschel Gibbs' big guns against Fulton's Flyers, who are playing here in the game after next. Herschel Gibbs was batting as the last man stands.
did he run many 2s?
He did run 2s, he also hit a few 4s and 6, but he was extremely well caught out in the deep. A running catch by Billy Pozzada, who had already taken another catch earlier in a similar way. Billy will be, I'm sure, trying to do the same thing this afternoon.
Fantastic. Well, as the players make their way off, thanks very much, and we will
Thanks.
catch you again soon.
So your commentators today have been Luke Stubbington,
That's correct.
Mike Stanger, and I'm not sure when you'll next hear me, but hope to
I'm sure
entertain
we'll be
you
back
again
on the
in
airwaves
future.
soon. Yeah, brilliant. Thanks very much, Mike.
Thanks a lot to you.